Let me also ping hello everyone. Welcome to the quarterfinals map pool showcase for Easy World Cup. I'm Shepsu, joined by Floppa, who unfortunately had
Hello.
mic issues. So he will be on mic, but I mean on phone, but I think it sounds fine, Loki.
Awesome. I'm very glad to be here after all. Apologies for the delay with both the pool and the showcase stream itself.
All right, well, I guess we can give it a minute before we get into the pool. Maybe you can talk about like things you are
Some
focusing on
general
for
notes.
this pool.
Yeah, some general notes about the pool is that the difficulty will in fact not be quite as difficult as qualifiers pool had been, even though it was our original intention to have qualifiers represent difficulty around the quarterfinals level. Also, the balancing across mechanics and reading is different. You will notice some picks, especially reading and gimmick focus picks, will not ramp up quite as much as the mechanics, as we have adjusted according to stats from previous rounds.
All right. Well, with that said, I think we can go ahead and jump into things, starting with our S1. Got a
For
banger.
S1, we have Haru by Yoshika, and this is a Nomad 1 esque Russian style structure jump consistency map. Pretty basic reading overall. Some acute angles, some wide angles. Should be very comfortable for you Nomad 1 enjoyers.
Is this the highest star rating in the pool?
Not quite, but it is the second highest.
Okay.
Not that it matters too much, because I do believe we have more mechanics focused or more difficult maps. I find this one to be maybe more towards the middle. It is quite difficult, mechanically
Right.
speaking, but I think it's very accessible for most players. Those rotating back and forth are a little bit diff spiky, but as they happen through the map, you'll probably find yourself holding on to your combos through the key eyes, or at least trying your best to do so.
What a miss.
Very unfortunate. A very chokeable ending with that rectangle jump spam.
Yeah, that looks tough. I saw overall a lot of like rectangles, triangle patterns in that map.
Mhm.
Also back
Shout
and
out Fall
forths.
for getting this replay, and in fact, most replays this round.
Yeah. I think it's mostly Fa and Isom.
Yeah, I believe so, except for one map.
Alright. On to S2. Oh yeah, 8 Bracket did one of them, I think.
S2, we have another replay by Iso, and this is a map that might be familiar to a good chunk of you. Seen a decent bit of play and traction when it first released. It is Ikoro by Down, a dedicated, weird rhythm, low BPM finger control map. I think this map is quite quintessential rhythm test. It's not all too difficult to read, not particularly dense or highly mechanical, especially on the aim side. But
Right.
the changing rhythms probably need some practice. Even though it's sight readable to read, we will probably end up seeing a decent few ACK battles on these.
Yeah, I would think most of the misses on this map would be from either misreading the rhythm or mistapping due to the finger control difficulty.
In many aspects, this map is quite the opposite to the previous, being more gimmicky, fully focused on tapping, and much shorter. Anyhow, moving on to our first easy hidden at S3. We have a blast from the past on Super Nuco World.
This is a
The
classic.
original with easy hidden force.
I think I have
This map
a ton of
offers
praise on this map.
this map offers a not particularly big challenge to most easy hidden connoisseurs, but it does focus quite heavily on your tapping skills between those bursts and streams. Also test your old style structure reading with a lot of tight, small spacing jumps. the KIs are a little scarier with this increased spacing, especially on those bursts. Also, the jump patterns, if you're not familiar with the map or generally speaking, this kind of old structure, very uneven, a little unpredictable, but nothing too bad if you are used to it. We have the guitar solo frame this spike. Also worth noting, while this map as well don't find one of the hardest, it is the highest star rating in the pool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, easily hidden got a significant buff in this reward, the star rating. All right, moving on to map 4. We have the first easy double time of this pool. We have Kukan Formation. This map is quite mechanical. Very heavy focus on speed at clocking in at 279 BPM,
Oh
as
yeah,
well as
very
high
fast.
BPM critical control. Yeah, it has some overlap reading, although with a bit of practice, it should be quite consistent. Yeah, this is sort of what we were referring to earlier with the mechanics aspect of the pool getting a bigger step up than the gimmicky and reading aspects. However, the speed players will be eating good finally.
Definitely also some finger control mixed in there.
This is the type of map where even if you're comfortable, you can just find yourself missing at any point. 280 BPM is very unforgiving for missteps. All right, and for our final starter pool pick, we have an easy halftime.
And this one specifically is a custom from Acceptice. So thank you to
It's
Acceptice
not
for
quite a
this.
custom, in fact. Next round, mini spoiler, I suppose. We do have the accepted custom. This one is
Oh,
just a sick
my
acceptance
mistake
map.
then. My mistake.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the custom
Acceptice
aspect
will be
is
doing a
thankfully
custom
an
for us.
ARA. Mhm. That is partially public information already, I believe.
I mean, yeah, if you just look at the roles in Discord.
Anyways, about the map, this one is not quite the densest easy halftime. However, it is very heavy on pattern reading and not getting overwhelmed by sliders. Although it's not the techiest map in the pool, it does offer a challenge with some timing and rhythms and benefit memorizing a lot. With that said, however, for a memory type map, I feel like this is maybe the most sight readable easy halftime we've had in a while. You see, this is very mixed reading challenges. Some overlaps, some density, and a lot of uh, confusion possible between the timing and the pattern and unconventional patterns and jumps. All right, now into our first map in the founder pool. We have C1. Sophie, nothing more to say. This will be our tiebreaker length map of the pool, offering a very progression focused type of mapping, getting progressively more intense. Albeit, with that said, though, after this slow intro, I do find it very, very likely to miss at many different sections and patterns. The map offers a lot of different unique reading challenges, as well as alt jump and however, it is single tappable as the vast majority of the patterns are only 2 and 3 notes long. You can expect, if you don't know this map already, you can expect to see a lot of overlaps, stacking, slider density. I believe the rhythm is probably the easiest aspect of this one, though. Contrary to the previous map. Now that we're done with this map and there's nothing else. Oh gosh, excuse me. Now that we're done with this map and there's nothing more to say, we can move on to C2, our dedicated tech map of this pool with an SS by fall.
Those?
Я потерялась, я снова не знаю, где я нахожусь. Комната в темных тонах, в чужих глазах перестроенный маршрут. Снова представила, как будет сложно мне все отпустить. Делаю шаг, потом два назад, от места к месту тяну нить. Я снова готова тебя отыскать.
This map starts off quite slow, but it does offer a good challenge with tapping and some aim on a very slider-heavy slider reading tech map.
Твоего сердца я любовь не найду. Никак, никак. Ищу тебя по компасу, не найду. Никак, никак. Твоего сердца я любовь не найду.
This can be quite comparable to the qualifiers dedicated tech lot, although we do find it a small step easier. And definitely a more bursty, a more friendly control compared to that. Shout out to Fall again for getting an SS on this out of the blue.
Yeah, that's hella impressive.
I'll be very, very delighted if anyone actually matches that in game.
Я снова готова тебя отыскать. Кидай координаты, пора мне бежать. С тебя
Definitely a lot of control patterns in the map. Mostly around all these bursts, with a lot of them being cut. And of course the finger control aspect.
All right. And
Really
now
nice score.
we are down to our last easy only in this pool. We have Akai Kajitsu by Juna. This is gonna be the dedicated easy flow aim and alt map of the pool. Very, very much aim focused rather than aim control or jumpy. Nothing too crazy to say about it. There are a couple of small patterns that might be misread, but the rhythm's overall simple. The patterns, for the most part, very intuitive. And this just takes your flow aim capabilities on 130 BPM, 135, and brings them to their limit as far as this pool goes.
Map seems pretty consistent with its use of these patterns.
Yep, generally a little more paced and chaotic during the KIs, but the whole song is a bit unrelenting. Doesn't give you too much breaks until the break section. But the song itself does not really slow down. A little difficult tapping there. Although it shouldn't be a problem for most teams who made it thus far. Unfortunate tie break.
Yeah, I imagine it's just hard to get all that on this 4-minute map. It is tough to get through all that without finding some small miss somewhere.
All right. And this will be it for C3. And moving into C4 and another easy hidden, we have Scary Point. This map, from the get-go, hits you with very funky rhythms, a little difficult to read, but mostly aim difficulty on these jumps. The hidden really amplifies the aiming all throughout the song.
Oh yeah,
But it alternates from these. Yeah, it alternates between those alt jump patterns into these short bursts of fake slow aim. This map really needs your focus as it is only a minute 40 brain time. It's also one of those maps without a real slow section or free section. It's very, very fun times.
Dude.
No, bruh.
Now that I think about it, Fall also wrote 6-7 in one of the previous videos.
If you're comfortable on easy hidden, the map is generally very intuitive to read. It's simply the execution and your focus that it has. And as quickly as it started, it's also over now. And we are moving into C5, Easy DT. We have, well, it says it in the difficulty title, in DT1. It is a little more daring than your typical DT1 with its reading. A bit lower AR, as much as it matters. And a little more overlap. But this is still very much a mechanics that, yeah, simply the usual DT1 acute angle, spam, more intense in the KIs, and nothing too special.
Yeah, this map is for the mechanically hungry people. At least if the mechanics you crave is the game. After stream, I will put the map pool on the sheet, but yeah, the map pack won't be up for a bit.
A little nifty burst action. I expect this ending section to take out majority of its Cs, just like this very replay. All right. Now we're moving on to the last double time, and it's Roar of the Jungle Dragon with
Interesting.
EZHD. This is a very, very big banger. DT alt, or well, as much DT alt as we can test on this
Oh,
difficulty.
I do love some DT alt. This song specifically
It's
is funny to
effectively,
hear on DT because it's just so high BPM, no mod already.
yep. And this is effectively 188 BPM, 1/4 dumps. However, as you can see, this flows quite nicely, not too harsh on the snapping. I gotta say, even though this is not all too intense in terms of jumping as the other difficulties on this song and other sets of this song, still feels incredibly fun and hype to play on double time. Just like you said, with the song already being very high BPM and those kick drums coming in everywhere. Mechanically, this is definitely much easier than the other two DTs, which is why the added force hidden on top will make it a challenge for most players. All right. Now we are done with the easies, done with the DTs, and we move on to easy halftime. C7. Eagle Seeker top difficulty with easy halftime. Incredible mix, generational even. So, for those unfamiliar with Bagel Seeker, affectionately known as Bagel Seeker, um, it's very, very dense. It is the densest map in the pool. Um, and besides that, it also tests mechanics quite well. Um, it's coming in at 176 BPM, constant burst, something you control, especially in those earlier sections when the shorter burst. You gotta make sure you read the wiggles correctly, and the jumps in between those bursts are pretty tight. And then in the latter parts of the map, it goes a lot more intense on the spacing, where it's yet another mini flowing phase. Although I do feel like the reading is the biggest challenge on this. The reading consistency while testing your tapping is no joke.
Yeah, and I imagine the amount of density makes the control on here and tougher, specifically the aim control.
Mm-hmm. And this very middle section will probably be a combo reset for many people. It's not the most difficult, and it is also very practicable. However, the nature of this map between the reading difficulty and those uh, very quick 1/8 sliders, very possible and easier to break on. So as we teased it earlier, this section, less finger control and even a little bit less tapping intensive, but it does trade that for way bigger spacings and longer bursts. The ending strings should not catch you off guard. After all, it's only 176 BPM. You can read it, you can probably hit those. All right, now moving on to our last map in the pool. We do something familiar yet unique. We have Aries, um, hidden only.
Hidden only
Yeah,
and optional easy.
I mean, and for those who would like to argue about it being optional easy at the Easy World Cup, I would refer you to the deep name of this map. I see easy right there. Anyhow, this is a familiar, very low AR hidden slot, low mechanics, pure reading test. Practice and memory are your friends here. Worth noting, there is no easy multiplier on this. It will simply make the map easier. As you notice, the OD being 7.2 and CS 3.2, this is a decent challenge for accuracy and a lot easier and inconsistent with aim.
Yeah,
You effectively get no downside for playing it with easy, besides that score modifier. So it's your choice on how good and comfortably consistent you are.
yeah, you do lose about half your score. So I do wonder how many people will take easy. I imagine most would take just hidden, but I haven't played it, so I'm not sure what the difficulty disparity is between with easy and without.
I will say I will also predict both to take hidden, but I would encourage trying out with easy. The consistency on it is very difficult without it. Um, OD 7.2 for most maps is not a big deal, but for a very low AR even, um, with those a little bit unintuitive rhythms, is gonna make quite the accuracy test in match. Also, the difficulty type sections, the choruses, are quite difficult to aim. So that is another element where easy will greatly boost your consistency, especially if you're less comfortable on these type of maps, like P8 from last week.
Yeah, I feel like the main um reason you would take easy is if you're just consistently getting FCs with easy and not so much with without easy. Because then that does give you a consistent 500k, which could be just a solid support score to have. But yeah, that's gonna differ between teams. They're gonna have to strategize about that.
Yeah, we do believe this map is not particularly harder and arguably easier than last week's Dai Genome when you factor in easy on top. So it's still a consideration to take into account, even though we do believe most players will opt in for hidden only. Although worth noting yet again, look at the difficulty name. Easy is applied.
I mean, it definitely feels like in the spirit of easy.
Absolutely. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed. This was the quarterfinals Maple Showcase. Soon you will receive the announcement of the map pool in full being on the sheet with the map pack. Um, we wish you good luck in the bracket, wherever you are, whether you play 2 matches through losers bracket or one in winners. And Shepsu, do you have any final remarks?
Not really. Good luck to all the teams. We will see you probably on Thursday. I won't confirm that, but there may be a match on Thursday, so we'll probably see you then. And goodbye for now.